Hello, cyclocross friends. It is Wednesday, October 30, and this is the USA Cycling Cross Report. This is the 8th weekend of UCI cyclocross racing in North America, so we have a lot of catching up to do. This past weekend, the U.S. held its third and final UCI C1 event of the year in Deersfield Township, Ohio at Cincy CX. Also on the schedule is the second oldest North American UCI race on the calendar, HPCX, which took place on Sunday in Jamesburg, New Jersey. We're going to start at Cincy CX, where the weather traveled a different route and scrambled the way things have looked up until now. At Waterloo, Fayette Cross, and DCCX, we had fast, dry racing under sunny skies on Saturday and rain and muddy racing on Sunday. For Kings, Saturday was the mudder and Sunday was fast and dry. Starting with Saturday, the top women in North America lined up in a steady downpour. With the exception of Katie Keogh and Katie Compton, the rest of the top North American riders were in the starting grid, including Pan American and Canadian champ Maghalie Rochette, who raced the Burn World Cup and then decided at the last minute to make the trip to Ohio. Also in this race was Becca Faringer, who is coming off a 4-race win streak at Charm City and DCCX to sweep the UCI Parkway Trophy CX Series. Sonny Gilbert, the CX Nationals runner-up, who is still coming back from an early season crash. Caroline Mani, the French national champ who resides in Colorado. Katie Klaus, returning to cyclocross after representing Team USA at Road Worlds in Yorkshire. And Clara Hansinger, who won a day at Fayette Cross and stood on the World Cup podium in Iowa. But it's been Rochette who has been the strongest of the field, and despite some lingering questions about her ability to win in the mud, she left nothing to doubt as she went to the front 2 minutes into the race and never looked back. The action took place in the chase behind as Ruby West, the Canadian U23 national champ, led the chase along with Mani and Klaus. Rochette built her early lead into an insurmountable margin and ended up taking the win by a minute and a half. Mani was able to work her way to the front of the chase and finish second, with West taking the third spot on the podium. As you take a look at the women's top 11, we are going to move on to Saturday's men's race. The 4 strongest riders on the men's side this season have been Kerry Werner, Curtis White, Lance Hyde, and Gage Hecht. The last time they were all in a race together was the first weekend in October for Fayette Cross. Also on the line was U.S. national champ Stephen Hyde, who notched his first win of the season at DCCX in muddy conditions the weekend before. Werner and White have been battling each other all season, with them splitting wins at Go Cross, Fayette Cross, and Charm City. The early laps of this race were no different, with Werner and White taking to the front in what at first looked like another hour-long battle between the two. But bad luck for White had him going down hard around the midway point. That opened the door for Werner, who didn't hesitate to put the power down and distance himself from any chasers. Gage Hecht and Cody Kaiser were the closest chasers for a bit, until Hecht and his teammate Lance Hyde did some magical body morphing move in which they switched spots without anyone seeing where or how. Hyde ended up hanging on to second and holding off the fast-charging White, who worked his way back from around the 8th spot to the 3rd step on the podium. As you take a look at the top 11, we're going to take a quick look at the Elite Juniors. In the juniors men's UCI race, Andrew Strohmeyer took the win with Magnus Sheffield in second and local favorite Lucas Stierwalt in third. Although not yet a UCI category, the Cincy CX race organization made sure to recognize the 17 to 18-year-old elite women. Winning that category was Maddie Monroe, with Lizzie Gonzalez in second and Lauren Zerner in third. Moving to Sunday in Ohio, and it was sunny skies and hero dirt. For the women's race, the conditions did not matter to Rochette either way. She once again went from the whistle and didn't look back, taking the win with ease. Katie Klaus and Clara Hansinger rekindled the head-to-head battles they had last year at Ruts and Guts and Cyclocross Nationals, albeit in different categories, to decide who would claim the next 2 steps on the podium. In the end, it was Klaus grabbing second and Hansinger coming in third. As we look at the top 11, we're going to move over to the men's race. For Sunday, the men were turning ridiculous fast laps and ended up doing 11 circuits of the Cincy CX track. White, Werner, and Hecht were the 3 top riders who battled it out throughout the day. This one came down to the final lap. The 3 entered the wooded technical section together, and Curtis White exited with a 5-second lead. Sensing daylight, he went all in for the final third of a lap and was able to extend his lead to 10 seconds, which left time for some high fives. Hecht ended up in second, with Werner taking the 3rd step. Another split weekend in the Werner and White rivalry, with each taking a win. They now clean the slate and prepare to do it all again next week at Really Rad Cross. In the junior men's race, Andrew Strohmeyer once again took the top step with Magnus Sheffield in second and Jared Scott in third. For the women's 17 to 18-year-old race, which took place inside of the women's elite race, Maddie Monroe was first, Bridget Tooley second, and Lauren Zerner third. Moving on to New Jersey and HPCX. In its 20th year and the second oldest UCI cyclocross race in the country, HPCX also featured cold and rainy conditions for this year's edition. In the men's race, Merwin Merv Davis ran away with it, taking the win by over a minute. This is Merv's first ever UCI win, and he did it on the East Coast slip and slide. Trent Blackburn finished second, with Dan Chabanoff rounding out the podium in third. In the women's race, Regina Legge was best in the Jamesburg, New Jersey rain, taking the win over Anna Maghalie and Stacy Barbosa. And there you have it. We will be back next week with more from the biggest U.S. cyclocross races. In the meantime, check out the CX Heat Check Power Rankings on the CX HAIRS YouTube channel to find out who the top 11 men and women racers are in North America. Until then, thanks for tuning in to the USA Cycling Cross Report. I'm Bill Schieken for CX HAIRS and the Wide Angle Podium Network. See you next time.